The Mario Kart series has no shortage of banger tracks, but there's always that one track from each entry that just misses the mark. Hey internet, I'm Bryse, and in this video, I'm going to be ranking the worst track in every mainline Mario Kart game, which means I won't be ranking any of the tracks from the arcade Mario Kart games or home circuit. A few notes before we start. These rankings are based on numerous polls I found online, but more so my opinion. Any ranking video like this is very subjective and is in no way official. It's just someone's opinion, and in this case, my opinion. After you watch the video, be sure to let me know your least favorite track in the comments below. So, without further ado, let's rank them up. Super Mario Kart is not known for having some of the best tracks, but Bowser Castle 2 takes it to a whole new level of terrible. The track plays like any other Bowser Castle in the game, but about halfway through, you're given the opportunity to turn left, right into a pool of lava. Choosing left will lead you to a dead end, with the word stop written on the road. This is supposed to be a shortcut that you can feather over, but it's near impossible to pull off unless you're a Super Mario Kart god. Seriously, is anybody actually good at this game? It's just frustrating they'd add this in, as they give no warning that turning left at this part leads to a shortcut you can only pull off with godlike skill. If you aren't experienced or equipped, you'll be forced to take the plunge into the lava or slowly back up and go down the correct path. Toad's Turnpike from Mario Kart 64 has to be one of the most frustrating tracks in the entire Mario Kart franchise. I like how they tried something new by adding other vehicles on the track that you have to avoid, but Toad's Turnpike is just too narrow and has way too many unpredictable vehicles driving. It's drive. But Toad's Turnpike is just too narrow and has way too many unpredictable vehicles driving alongside you that it's nearly impossible to get through an entire race without getting hit by one of them. Getting hit by anything in Mario Kart 64 is just way too punishing, and it almost guarantees that you won't be getting first place on this track. Toad's Turnpike is so unenjoyable for me that I actually avoid playing the Flower Cup, just so I won't have to race on this track, which is a shame, because the rest of the Flower Cup has some pretty great tracks. Yeah, this is what you get for having such an annoying track, you stupid little mushroom! As the first track in the Star Cup, Snow Land from Mario Kart Super Circuit is expected to offer more of a challenge than the other tracks. However, the thing that makes this track the worst in Super Circuit is not any of the sharp turns or even the slipperiness of the track. It's the stupid screen shaking that takes place during the entire race. I don't know whose bright idea this was, but it's so distracting and honestly gives me a headache. Can someone explain to me why exactly the screen is shaking? Like, did your character just get that jacked up on coffee beforehand and now has the jitters? If it wasn't for this, I can guarantee you that Snow Land would not be on this list. Thank God Mario Kart 8 Deluxe brought this track back without this effect, because it is honestly one of my favorite tracks in the Booster Course Pass so far. What do you get when you combine bad traction with Mario Kart Double Dash's sensitive controls? It pains me to put another snow track on this list, as snow biomes are usually my favorite in video games, but Sherbet Land from Mario Kart Double Dash is such a slippery mess. The only sections of this track that really make it a pain are the two where you're driving on solid ice while trying to avoid skating Shy Guys and those frost-forsaken freezies, which if touched will cause you to get frozen and discombobulate you, causing your kart to end up who knows where. I don't really hate this track at all, it can just get annoying at times. The remake of this track in Mario Kart 8 is definitely a step up in quality. If the course's name is not enough of a giveaway, Figure 8 Circuit from Mario Kart DS is just that, Figure 8. The Figure 8 layout is no stranger to the Mario Kart series, with many tracks using the same layout, but this track has to be one of the most boring tracks in the entire series. With no hazards or boost panels, this track just feels empty and uninspired. I know the first track in every Mario Kart game is supposed to ease players in, but that doesn't mean it has to bore them to tears in the process. Oh look, it's another starter track! I wonder if this will be a theme moving forward. Luigi Circuit from Mario Kart Wii suffers from similar problems that Figure 8 Circuit had. There's just not much going on here. I will say Luigi Circuit offers more than the previously mentioned track, as it features extra turns, boost panels, shortcut opportunities, and a slightly more interesting background. I must say, I do really like the giant Luigi statue and the cheap blimp. This may be a bit of a spoiler, but I promise that this will be the last starter track on this list. Toad Circuit from Mario Kart 7 is essentially a Luigi Circuit 2.0, but with a glider section that gets added after 40 seconds of racing has passed. There's really not too much else to say about this track. The Toad balloons are a nice touch, and the tunnel I guess makes it stand out a bit more in comparison to the other circuit tracks. Moving away from the circuit tracks, Bone Dry Dunes from Mario Kart 8 and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was the new desert themed track added to the game, and unfortunately, it just doesn't do much for me. This track is just very bland and uninspired compared to the other masterpieces in Mario Kart 8. The twists and turns of this track aren't exactly fun to make, and there's just nothing very memorable about this track that makes it stand out. I know this is a desert, so it's supposed to be a little empty, but the other desert tracks in the series have done a much better job pulling off this theme, like Dry Dry Ruins in Mario Kart Wii. The music also doesn't hold up as well compared to the rest of Mario Kart 8's soundtrack, which has to be the best OST in the series. Tokyo Blur from Mario Kart Tour is based off of real-life Japan, but unfortunately, the track for me just comes off as boring and unmemorable. This is a real shame since real-life Japan is such a beautiful place. Most of the city-themed tracks are very similar and almost blend into one another, but they usually offer something to make it stand out. Tokyo Blur doesn't seem to have that quality, and it just features a basic road that you drive across. I hate to fault the track for this, since it debuted as only the second ever city track, so perhaps they were still learning on how to make them all feel unique. The music for this track is also uninspired, as it's just based off of 3DS Toad Circuit and 3DS Mario Circuit. Even worse is that Tokyo Blur's remake in the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass is just as boring, and is definitely the worst of the tour tracks in that game as well. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed what you saw here today, be sure to hit the like, smash that subscribe, and ring the bell to get notified when I upload future videos. Once again, I'm Mike Bryce, and I will see you in the next one.